Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. So we have another ridiculous experiment for you guys, and that is, can we stop a ship using harpoons? Let's get started. Alright, so I've been meaning to do this because I did try it somewhat in our series Surviving as a Trader in Space. So I know if we did like thruster override and everything like that, it probably ain't gonna work, but if we did like dampeners or it was free floating and flying away, can the harpoon stop the ship from going any further? Can we actually slow it down? That's what I kind of want to find out today. Obviously, if you could put like a landing gear and slowly connect to it, I think that works perfectly fine, except the fact that it might break the landing gear for the most part. But let's see if this works out. So I need to put myself as a respawn point or a quick way to get into our ship. So what I'm going to do here is go in spectator mode and get towards the helm like this. So I can just port myself in here once we're ready. Because what we're going to do is actually get into the Thrasher. And what we're going to do is probably not go too fast. We're probably going to go maybe 50 beats per second and then dampen this off. And then we're going to try our best to catch up with it. And then hook it onto the harpoon. So dampen is off. Go forward about 50. We're gonna jump out of here, port into the mush ship. Oop. We're gonna get in here and go forward. We're gonna try our best to get as close as we can to the Thrasher. And what we're gonna do, obviously, is shoot the harpoon right behind it so we can stop it from there. So again, its damper is off, so if it's like a free floating ship, I just want to see if that kind of works. So if we could just kind of do a follow here. There we go. Going about 53, I think it is. So in 3 2 1, we'll shoot the harpoon. We're attached, as you see there. And if we turn dampers on and we have all thrusters on, we are actually slowing it down. So that's surprising. But this does kind of work. So as you see here, if it's not being controlled still by anything, and it's just on dampeners off, let's just say, it's not actually moving once we harpoon it on here. How many points did we get onto here? We only got 1 point on here. I thought we got more than that. Actually, no, we did get more than that. So I think it's got the antenna. Yeah, it's got the antenna and everything. So it is still kind of moving a little bit. It's going 1 meters per second, but it's not going anywhere. We could reel it in and everything like that, but that's a little dangerous too. I mean, we could try it, but as you see, we were able to stop it. So that's actually pretty interesting. I don't even know where it went. I think it's down here now. Yeah, it's right here. So if I go backwards with it, I basically yank it, and it might get myself in trouble where it's going to hit me because it is dampers off. But looks like that worked out pretty fine. I wasn't expecting it to work that great, but it looks like that went perfectly well. So we can extend it, or if you really wanted to, we can reel it in, and we could just drag it across if you want to, I guess. But again, it's on dampeners, so it is gonna hit us if we don't be careful. So if I drag it down here, oop, it's getting a little bit close for comfort. Gonna extend it out a little bit, let it fly away from us. Well, maybe it is gonna hit us, but we're gonna also try this one with thrust override and also with a larger ship. So as you see here, it is doing fine. It is probably gonna crash the ship once it hits the extended rope potential, or the extension of the rope. That might fall backwards and hit us. Yep, right there. And that's when it's gonna slowly hit our ship, so gotta be careful of that. Alright, we removed the ship, and alright, that actually worked out pretty well. I wasn't expecting to work that well. I mean, if we went a little faster, it could have worked out just as good, but that was kind of what I was expecting to do. Kind of. Okay, so if we load up the same Thrasher, Obviously, if we do thruster override, it's going to go 100 meters per second eventually. So we got to do this really, really quickly. So once again, we're just going to jump into this here, the Thrasher. Ooh. Why did I do that? All right, here we go. And we're just going to do the forward ones here with a slight override. Nothing too much, because then I can catch up to it. It is going to go 100 meters per second, but we should be able to catch up to it as soon as possible. So we do a small amount there. Let it kind of fly away. We'll get into our ship here. And try to locate the Thrasher. Where did it go? Oh, it's right there. So it's already speeding up a little bit quickly, and not sure why I have it going that way. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to catch up to it now. We'll try. Okay, as you see, that is definitely not going to work. Alright, so I'm going to turn off dampeners really quick. Let this thing free float a little bit. I'm not sure if this is going to work out. I myself could probably catch up to the Thrasher. I'm going to slow it down really quickly. Actually, no, this sounds like a bad idea. I should have done it a lot slower so that it wouldn't be doing this, actually. So let me turn everything off here. Let's slow this thing down. That one's a lost cause, basically. Alright, so I think we sped it up a little bit too fast with the override. So we'll do this again with the Thrasher. I guess we could just one forward thruster instead and do a slight increase that way. And obviously we'll paste this thing here. I think we just do the top. We could speed match it. And it's going slowly, 13 meters per second. I want to get it up to about 50, and then I'll try to hook onto it. Slowly getting there. Again, this is forward thruster going on override and see what happens when we put a harpoon on it. I think it's going to swing back and hit us, obviously, but that's the risk we're going to take here. But as long as we can stop a ship from flying forward while propulsion, that makes a lot more sense. If it had override on it, then yeah, we probably have to shoot down the propulsion. And then that way, we can at least try to stop it. Or stop the momentum of it in that way. So, interesting to note that it does kind of work. Again, as long as it's not flying at all. Or being still controlled by a drone or whatever the case is. Alright, we're at 50 meters per second. I'm going to shoot this in 3, 2, 1. We're attached. And we can pull it back if we want to. And then we turn off dampeners. So it's attempting to fly away. But I think because I have more thrust power than it does, it's not going anywhere. So that's actually pretty interesting. But that's only working because it's one thruster, one forward thruster versus large thruster. So that makes a lot of sense why it's not moving. So it's attempting to move, but it's not going anywhere. But if we did all this, maxed it out, then yeah, that's going to be a problem. If we could catch up to a ship that's 100 meters per second, you'll see that it's going to swing back and it is going to kind of destroy our ship a little bit in 3, 2, 1. But it is kind of stopping it. I mean, as long as we have a decent part for it to smash into and not break too much. From here, at least we can go in there and take out the propulsion if we want to. But surprisingly, that kind of did work. And it worked out pretty fine. Alright, let's get rid of this one. Did a little bit of damage. Nothing too significant, I think. I hope we didn't destroy the cargo container, because that's where we have a lot of the canvas for it. Yeah, nothing. That's all fine. No problem whatsoever. Alright, so we're going to try this with the same large ship. So if we grab the mush ship, the same size and everything like that, well, minus a little bit of damage, do the same thing. Like if we go 50 meters per second. Oh, let me do my spectating thing first. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing, but with our mush ship. So we're going to try to catch up with this large behemoth of a ship just to see what it can do with the same size. A smaller ship looks fine. Thrasher is quite small. So what if you went up with something a lot bigger like our own ship? So if we flown forward 50 meters per second and dampen this off. We're gonna do the same thing. Dampen this off 50 meters. Take that off and teleport in here. Oop. I think I messed up. I did not get out of the helm before porting, so now we merged our ship together. Whoops. All right, so let's try that again. All right, so take two. We're gonna bring this thing full speed, 50 meters per second, dampeners off, jump off, and try to teleport to our ship. And this time, make sure to get off the helm, obviously, so we don't merge our ship again. We're off the helm. Teleport to our ship. And we're going to try and catch up to our 50 meters per second ship right up front. We have match speed on, so that works out perfect. Oh, not yet. Coming off. All right, we got to get a little bit closer first. All right, there we go. Trying to match the speed if it lets me. It's always tricky for some reason. All right, there we go. So it's about 53 meters per second. I'm gonna fire the harpoon in 3, 2, 1, and we're attached. Ready to take off dampeners or turn on dampeners. And it looks like, yeah, it's working out pretty well. As long as we have enough backwards thrusting, we're able to slow it down and stop it, hopefully. So we went from 50 meters per second, and now going to 0. So we fully stopped it. So yeah, so there's no propulsion, and if we have enough thrusters, we should be fine. But once again, if we go against a ship that has thruster override, that's a bigger problem, because that thing's just gonna swing and hit us. So basically, if we did all our forward thrusters, this is gonna be really, really dangerous, obviously, because there's a lot of thrusters here. Full override. Let's try to get out of here. And you'll see that it's attempting its best to fly away. And it's actually pulling my ship pretty decently, too. So we're going like, wow, 20 meters per second. We're going to hit 100 meters per second eventually, too. So that is actually interesting. It's not swinging around because it's about the same weight. The only difference is that this has harpoons and that doesn't. And it's not really doing too much. It's just pulling us forward, but our ship is following it. So that's interesting. But I think the moment I stop to thrust the override here, our ship is going to crash right into it. So that's going to be a problem too. Or maybe not. It'll probably slow down. But yeah, look how much hydrogen is burning. We are now at 50 meters per second. So yeah, if the ship is roughly the same weight, I think it works out okay. At least our ship can follow it in a way. But at least it doesn't swing and crash. But again, if I turn off all the thrusters, I'm pretty sure the ship potentially behind us, or the one with the harpoon, is probably going to crash. So turn this off. Oop, didn't turn it off all the way. Alright, we disabled it, and we're slowing down. It probably won't crash because it's about the same thruster. So we're slowed down kind of the same. Yeah, slowing down kind of the same. Slowly moving. Yep, and there we go. So that works out okay. It's nothing crazy, obviously, as you see there. And of course, we could do the same thing if we did a landing gear instead. But it'll be a little bit more difficult, I think, because it potentially just can break. So that's the only big difference when we're talking about harpoon versus a landing gear. So, looks like we fully stopped, which is good. All right, so we'll try that again, but this time with the landing gear instead of the harpoon. And obviously, magnetic plate will work just fine as well. Okay, so we will have the landing gear here. And we'll move the ship slightly forward without thruster override. I think with thruster override, it's going to do the same thing, right? It's basically going to drag our ship once we get connected. But let's just try it just for fun. We'll go 50 meters per second with no dampeners. We're going to hop out. Port ourselves here. And get into our helm. And locate our ship. We're not going to be able to landing gear it directly on the back because I don't think we're going to fit to get to the hangar doors. So we're going to have to try to get to the thrusters over here. Okay. So this gets tricky because we have to be really careful and slow and hope we can match speed with it in order for this to kind of work. Right, there we go. So it's going 50 meters per second. Or a little bit more, but here we have the landing gear, but of course we gotta go really, really slow and attempt to grapple onto it like that. Then turn our dampers back on, and as you see here, we slow it down. But obviously, that's not as great as the harpoon because the harpoon has more length to do it. So I guess in my series, I could definitely use the harpoon to stop a ship, especially if it's just running forward without thruster override. The only problem is I would never be able to catch up to a ship that's running full speed forward. Which is unfortunate because our jetpack could do it because sometimes for some reason we go like 110 meters per second. So then we can catch up to the ship at 10 meters per second more. But a ship would never go that fast. So unfortunately when it does happen that way, yeah, it's just not going to work out. But if the ship is pretty big, I can harpoon onto it and just like cross my fingers that it's light enough or about the same weight that it doesn't swing back and hit us. So that's what we can potentially do. All right, so I know thruster override is going to be the same thing. We just got to catch up to it. And if we do put dampers on, we'll fight it the same way as long as we have the same thrusters and everything like that. So it's all kind of the same. But yeah, looks like it's feasible to use a harpoon, a rope to stop a ship. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to drop a comment down below, even to just say hi. And of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.